Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. This is turning out to be one of the craziest days in recent Bachelor memory. We've got Kaitlyn Bristowe unfollowing her ex-fiancé Jason Tartick. That's not a wild story, just a general progression of what's going on. But the story we already covered, which if you haven't checked out, run, don't walk over, is Clayton ex-fling drops major receipts. And just to show you how wild this story is, it is already taking off like crazy in the YouTube algorithm with an impression click-through rate of 28%. Just to put that into respect, to compare that to Colton Underwood's story, which was a tragic story to cover, that only had 23%. So you guys are very interested in that story. We're going to keep covering it as time goes on. But also we've got this story, Kaitlyn unfollowing Jason Tartick. What's more interesting than her unfollowing Jason, which I think is the right thing to do. I mean, can you imagine following your ex? They're trying to move on with their life. You're trying to move on with yours. It's already tough enough. So much respect that she did unfollow him. He has not unfollowed her yet. That's up to him to decide if he wants to. If she doesn't want him to see what she's up to, she can block him. But of course, this is self-care, folks. This is something you do. If your mom's on social media posting crazy conspiracy theories that are damaging her health, unfollow her. Pick up the phone and talk to her like a real human, but you don't need to venture into... So this is Kaitlyn's way of kind of putting the curtain back up on her private life and not needing to have him involved. So we're going to get into what she had to say with Amanda Hirsch on her podcast Off the Vine. I've shared several clips already. The conversation's fascinating. We'll get to that in a second. Hey, but guess what? Congrats to Tino Franco. Today's his off-contract day, which means he's allowed to do podcast interviews that are not approved in the Bachelor Nation. What will he do with his time? Shooting, driving with Dave Neal later today. That's right. I'm going to have Tino today. We'll have that conversation up for you guys tomorrow morning. I'm sure it's going to be fascinating. I'm going to hammer him about the timeline of his relationship with Rachel Recchia. We're going to get down to the bottom of that. And also, after this video, the next one, Danielle from Danielle and Michael, they just broke up. He announced it on the Trading Secrets podcast. She says that was news to her. So we're going to have that story coming up next. Fascinating stuff. And by the way, whatever content we don't get to today, because there are so many stories going on, I'll have them on the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. Bachelor Rush Hour, every afternoon, entertainment news. Let's jump into it. What a Friday. What a Friday. Okay, here we go. Let's play what Kaitlyn has to say.
Dogs for the whole podcast.
I know. You can't because of the dogs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, but if we share them 50-50, anyways, it's going to get difficult because
I'm concerned.
Yeah, me too.
I'm concerned because I'll tell you why. Like Katie and Schwartz, I don't know. I feel like Schwartz is like not easier, but he's like, I don't know. Maybe even their breakup, not yours seems amicable too, but
right.
I don't know. I feel like Schwartz is kind of like a leaf in the wind.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
And like Katie can just kind of control the situation.
Totally.
So I'm not worried about her
right.
in the dog thing.
You're worried about me and the dog thing.
But I'm not worried about you and the dog thing. I'm worried about the dog thing a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why.
I just want them like.
By the way, Amanda Hirsch, I've never met her and I've never consumed her content. She doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, come off like a supportive friend here because she kind of instigates in cattle prods. It makes for great podcasting, but I don't know if this would be the most nurturing way to handle this conversation.
I'm just crazy. I really, like, the dogs are my number one priority in everything.
Really having, like, if we can have some humor about this.
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks to Jason's video.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, was it a Sarah McLachlan? Like,
that's what I said. I was like,
in the arms of an angel, you can fly away with me. So here's the video they're talking about.
It mentally sucks.
It's a video where he says moving sucks, and he says a few weeks ago my best buddy called and asked if he could help, and it's really a love story to his best friend, but it's very sad. You see the dogs there, and of course because of this video, people were like, what are you doing to those dogs? They're confused. They don't know what's going on. When in fact, that's all of us kind of putting our projections of emotions onto the dogs. They don't know the difference between this versus going on a 3-week trip or a 2-day trip. My dog's the same way. Every time I go check the mail, he's like, I'll never see you again. And I'm like, I'll be right back. Never. And then I come back and he's like, whoa, you're back. back. And then I have to go like, I have to go get something out of the car. No, don't get something out of the car. I come back, oh my gosh. You know, dogs don't know the difference. Come on. All right, so anyway, that was his video. And then here's her response to his video.
But I will remember you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it was sad music.
But it was. I
was mortified.
I don't know how he got out of that with you.
I haven't let it go.
Like, because how do you say like it wasn't on purpose? Like it's a real, you
purposely made it real. Well, what broke my heart too is I was like, I was there crying in the bedroom.
Like you were
I was in the house.
Around.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
we should have put you in the reel.
Yeah. Why didn't you have time to put me in there?
At least.
So look, here's the deal. Okay, where's my ref hat? I got to get my ref hat here. He's allowed to post sad breakup stuff, and she's allowed to talk about it on her podcast. It's good content for both of them. The question will be, will the line be crossed where one is offended by the other, that they then go scorched earth? It is very challenging to have a public breakup. Hey, looking at you, Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner. Very challenging to have a public breakup. We'll have that content on today's Bachelor Rush Hour, but it's very challenging to have a breakup that doesn't cross the line when you are also content creating.
Pan to you too.
Yeah, like crying in the corner with the sad music. Like, let me be a part of that, because then it just makes me look like I'm the asshole. Yeah. God, but it's hard too, because I am a little bit protective over his heart, just because I'm like, but of course things are going to annoy me and piss me off, and I'm sure things are annoying him and pissing him off, and he can talk about that on his podcast. Are you
hiding each other on Instagram, or are you
fully muted?
Oh, muted, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like that you guys didn't delete off Grid.
I will never. And I didn't delete Sean either.
He still like has you pinned.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird is Sean still has me pinned on his highlights.
No.
Yes, somebody brought that up to me not long ago. But regardless, I'm like, this is also part of my whole life story. Like that was the longest relationship I've ever had. I definitely thought he was the one. Everybody knows it. We didn't prioritize each other. We started growing apart. We were both focused on our careers, not just me. We both were just, I don't know, not a priority to each other.
Yeah.
And that will, when they say like you get little rips, and if you don't repair those little rips, they become like big tears, and you can't repair them after they're too far gone. And that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad though.
It's sad, but it's healthy because look, here's the thing. Is Kaitlyn getting it worse than Jason? Yes. Is that some form of misogyny? Probably, because people are saying, oh, she put her career first, when Jason's doing the same dang thing. I mean, actually, Jason moved to Nashville for her. I don't think anyone did anything wrong here, other than they didn't value their relationship, or at least it's one of those things. It's like what would I have done? What would you have done? I mean, they're both, their careers were in these they've taken off. It's life changing. It's literally hard to turn that down if you have that personality type. And now they're learning, and maybe the next relationship comes around, and maybe they've plateaued a little bit career wise, and they can put water those plants a little bit better.
Sad. It's really sad.
As an observer,
yeah,
like you guys really did seem like such a great couple.
Even in the last year, I feel like everyone was like,
"You mean on Instagram?"
Yeah. Yes.
On Instagram.
So stupid. Okay, guys, as you know.
All right, so let's see if she has anything else here for us. But it's fascinating stuff. She said, I haven't let it go. And whether or not it was, for sure it wasn't Jason's intention to come off in that way, in that reel. But just about anything he posts. I mean, he cried in his podcast. That was just him sharing his emotions.
Ever do to you? Why are you so upset?
I don't know. I just felt that's what I was asking in my reel, but it seemed like everyone agreed. I don't know why.
I can't do flats.
I saw that they were coming back.
Oh.
All right. So anyway, they moved the conversation on. But look, this is kind of where this is where the sausage is made, folks. This is what we cover. The breakup happens. That was 6 weeks ago. They had their breakup. They post a mutual announcement. They do their thing here, right? Where's the breakup? And then he has to repair his life. 6 weeks later, she has the right to, she muted him, but clearly she's like, I got to unfollow. That's the good decision. So anyone in the comment section, I know people will have snarky comments. Just remember, that's probably some form of internalized misogyny. You get mad and say, no, Dave, I'm allowed to feel my feelings. No, absolutely. But she's trying her best. And part of that, when people say, oh, she needs to get off social media. Well, for those people that are telling her to get off social media, they should be happy that she's unfollowing Jason, right? They should be happy that she's not subjecting herself. Because some people are actually really good at being like, I always stay friends with my exes. And I'm just like, okay, but I think that means something about you. I dated a girl who had to stay friends with their exes. And when we broke up, I was like, I don't want to be like every other ex you get to emotionally not feel like you completely cut the cord with. Like, we're done. Adios. Goodbye. We'll see you later. Good luck. I wish you the best. But, and then I think that's the right thing to do. There are scenarios in which you might remain friends. Now, the fact that they're sharing dogs is going to be very challenging, but they're both relatively very wealthy. They both can afford assistants that can do the dog swapping. People will comment, this is bad for the dog's environment. It's like, all right, chill out, Granite. Granite? I don't know. Chill out. I'm trying to think of new names to call women. Granite is not one of them. All right, hard as a rock. Chill out, Clarice. They're trying their best. Okay, so we've got one more video, unless there's any other breaking news, which it is coming today. My phone has been blowing up. One more video after this, and whatever we don't get to will be on today's Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit afternoon podcast. What a Friday! We'll be back with more content right after this.